see roof races being a way of involving people of all ages in the Historic House Trust, because if it's only focused on the old or only focused on the young, it isn't a grassroots unit. So you've really got to get people of all ages involved in historic preservation.
Roof Racers is important to New Yorkers because it helps raise awareness of the history of New York. These things should be preserved. We shouldn't be forgetting where we came from and everything that New York stands for.
Operate in a more green, environmentally friendly manner. So it's probably an initiative to educate folks on how to be how to operate a house that's more conservative, how to build a house that's more green, and really promote that concept so that people actually value it in the city as well.
Roof Raisers brings people together via their common interests. There's people from all types of industry that still care about the same things.
Many New Yorkers have grandparents or parents who actually lived in tenements or lived in Lower East Side, and their grandchildren will come and see, oh, that's what great-grandma Minnie looked like when she lived on East 3rd Street. And without that, they'll have no sense of the history and the passage of time in New York City.
Porters we have here, City Winery, Brooklyn Brewery, it builds a sense of community.
I think it's important for everyone. I mean, personally, I grew up in a house that was built in 1820, and it was, it was just a great experience for me. Having that kind of history around me as a kid gave me a real appreciation for it. And New York City, I mean, it has as much history as any city in the world. I mean, maybe not in terms of years, but the things that have happened here, the people who have gone through here, all the stories, and those are all contained in these historic buildings. And I mean, if we were to let them lapse, we'd be letting our history lapse, we'd be letting the story behind who we are as a city lapse. So I think it's incredibly important. And what they're doing is just absolutely wonderful.
Old has to be maintained, because if it isn't maintained, children and grown-ups will forget about the history of what it was like when they were young and what it was like when the city was young.
The Historic House Trust is really fantastic work. It provides technical expertise, it provides collections expertise, it provides education expertise. It works with a wonderful groups that take care of these house museums and explain them and use them as living laboratories for teaching history to New York City school children. It is a time machine travel to the past. They are extraordinary properties. There are great things happening. And Franklin Vagnone and his team have done a wonderful job bringing them to life and bringing to life just the whole idea of the Historic House.